Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I'm just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, relaxing, looking sexy. Well, almost, maybe not first thing in the morning. All right, I had someone ask me in my comments, they're like, Jason, you're going pretty hard on a lot of these carnivore types, and I don't understand why. I mean, there can't be that many people doing it. It's obviously mental illness, and you shouldn't need to bring it up. And I think the point that people miss with that is that these people are everywhere. And the reason I go hard on it is because they're literally in my comments all the time. And I think that's the point that people miss. These people have become the new militant vegans on the other extreme, right? It's just instead of eating vegetables, they want you to eat butter. And the problem becomes you literally cannot make videos or make posts online promoting carbohydrates or fruits and vegetables. You cannot make them anymore without these people rushing in. You guys remember how back in the day, anytime someone posted a steak or promoted animal protein, and again, before the vegans get mad at me, keep in mind, I eat plant-based. Right? I'm getting a big chunk of my protein from tofu every day, and I promote fruits and vegetables. I'm not necessarily 100% plant-based because I'll occasionally have an animal product, but I mean, I'm mostly plant-based. So don't even get mad at me for saying this. You guys need to chill, mellow out. But remember how they would rush in and they would scream over and over and over. You couldn't make a pro meat or a pro dairy post or video without them rushing in screaming how it's going to clog your arteries and how you're going to die and how, all this stuff, right? That you're an animal abuser, all these things because you posted a meat or a glass of milk somewhere. Okay? You guys remember those days. It is now like that with the carnivores. It's now like that. You cannot make a pro-carbohydrate video, even though the entire sports nutrition world agrees athletes need to be eating carbohydrate-dominant diets. All the leading researchers on longevity agree around the world the longest-lived people usually have a higher percentage of their dietary calories come from carbohydrates. Okay, this is not a controversial position. It is the mainstream position for people who work with longevity, diabetes treatment, elite athletes, everything. Like there is no controversy here. This is overwhelming scientific consensus in these areas. Particularly when it comes to sports performance. But when you make these posts, they all come in screaming about how terrible carbohydrates are, and they don't even know basic science. Like they literally attack your videos. Well, don't you know that all carbohydrates turn to sugar and sugar? It's like, what? They act like glucose is suddenly the enemy. They don't even know. These people are so ignorant, they don't even know the difference between fructose and fructose metabolism, which is our concern, and glucose. Like to them, the word sugar means something. And again, these are militant zealots who they don't read science. So they literally think glucose is bad. Put that in perspective. And anyone who studied human biology who hears someone say that glucose is bad, you're laughing. But these people don't understand that. They don't realize that it's refined fructose that reaches the liver that causes all these problems we're concerned about. Okay? It's fructose, and it's not all fructose. It's fructose that reaches the liver, which is why refined matters. When it reaches in an excess, yes, it causes fatty liver, insulin resistance, all these things. At almost as high of a rate as saturated fat does. That's how bad fructose is. Okay, it is almost as bad as saturated fat when it reaches the liver. Calorie per calorie. Right? It's like 80% is bad. Which is pretty bad. Which again, you say that, then they freak out. But you can't even discuss studies from the metabolic ward showing what saturated fat, when you eat large amounts of it, what it does in the liver immediately in the short term, the same day, same week in clinical trials. Right? They're in complete denial because they don't read science. They don't read anything done after 1985. That's where that science ended for them. Maybe it's a George Orwell thing. But the point is, they attack you. You cannot make these videos. And when you come in talking about fruits and vegetables, they come in screaming, all you need is red meat and butter. And they're militant about it and aggressive. And then they tell you that you're ignorant of science. They're like, you clearly are ignorant about nutrition. And they clearly are. They've never read anything from a metabolic ward study in their entire life, and it's blaringly obvious. They also don't even know basic human biology. Again, blaringly obvious. But then they attack you, and that's the problem. That's why I have to bring it up, because I have for a long time run a very pro-carbohydrate channel. Of course, I used to be very pro-dairy, and I want to be clear there, even though I do plant-based, I think dairy is phenomenal for athletes. So I want to be clear there. Just because I do certain things for health purposes and inflammation purposes doesn't change that position. Just an FYI. See, again, we can set our biases aside and look at individual factors, what's good for X, Y, and Z. But the reason I have to do this is because they're everywhere, and you cannot put out good information without them storming in with their absurdity, their absolute absurdity. I mean, keep in mind, these people think butter is a health food. If you can be convinced butter is a health food while looking at the scientific literature, I don't know what to say. It definitely qualifies as high up there on the junk food list, and it just does. It's a highly refined junk food. Okay? My grandpappy ate it all the time, and he made it to 62 before his third heart attack killed him. You know, again, these people seem to think that dying at 75 is normal and healthy. Just keep that in mind. But back over to the point. They're everywhere, and you can't post in any group. I see the carnivore people with this stuff all day long in my feed because I'm on various social media. It's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I read all this stuff on all these every day. I'm in different groups. I follow groups. They literally overrun everything. Every single thread anyone asks about diet, anywhere, nutrition, any post, the carnivores are in there screaming about the virtues of the carnivore diet and how vegetables are bad and carbs are bad. Just so for people who are wondering why I make those videos, you're clearly not tuned into other social media. These people have become a dogmatic, militant, insane movement, and it's completely anti-science. Like, their entire position is essentially a conspiracy theory. Okay, but the reason it has to be addressed is because they are everywhere, and the people who've made it worse have been like the Liver King, then Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, Sean Baker. These people have essentially caused this. Like, and this makes them bad people, right? Because they have promoted this. And I don't care about anyone's defenses of Jordan Peterson. Well, he's just because of his daughter. No, he is a bad person. He is knowingly, actively promoted a deadly diet and a movement that's created zealotry that is going to cause ridiculous amounts of heart attacks and cancer. Okay, I don't care what anything else he's ever done. That itself has created an enormous negative that cannot be undone. So it doesn't matter what other good you think he does. He has created enormous amounts of direct harm, and he has still not corrected the position. All right. So I don't want to hear that nonsense from anyone either. I don't care. He's a bad person, period. Your actions, he has caused direct harm on a large scale. If you cause direct harm on a large scale to other people and you don't retract it or do anything to take it back, you're a bad person. And I think that's a very, very simple definition, and I think it holds true. And that applies to all these people who have promoted this diet, all of them. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.